most other beginners have the wrong bow foundations, blocking any lasting progress and making it impossible to sound beautifully. But after teaching hundreds of adult students and reviewing more than 800 books, I found what are the most important principles to have a beautiful tone all the time. So first we'll see how violin pros hold the bow and how you can do the same to fix most of your bow issues. Then we'll see how to move the bow to have a beautiful tone in each part of the bow. And last we'll see how to unlock a full beautiful tone on the violin. So let's start with holding the bow like a pro. And this is super important, not only to have a beautiful sound, but to be able later on to have different colors on the violin, or very softly, and playing different bow strokes, like spiccato and so on. So the first step will be to understand exactly where to put each finger and what is the role of each finger. So we'll always start with the thumb and the third finger, building a ring like that. And like you can see, it should not touch the point of my finger, but come here a little bit inside of it. And then this will come here on my bow, my thumb will go here inside, and then the third finger directly here. And the role of those two fingers is just to make sure that we really hold the bow and that it can't fall. Then we'll add the index finger to it. And here, the most important part, that will be to use the right part of the finger. Not the tip of the finger, not the first part, but really the middle part of your index finger, here. Like that. Not there, not there, here. Then next, come your ring finger. The ring finger needs to come on the side exactly here. And his role is to make sure when you play that the bow stays stable on the string, especially the angle with the string. And last, you have the fourth finger. So the fourth finger should come on the top like that. And what you want to make sure is that it's round and relaxed and not stretch like that. Should just be round and relaxed. And his role is basically to hold the bow when you play at the frog. So that the bow doesn't fall on the other side. And on the opposite, when you play at the tip of the bow, you actually will not need it and could just lift it. So here are very few common mistakes to check. The first one is to have all fingers too far apart, like that. That makes the entire hand very tense, or having the finger too close to each other like that. Instead, you want to keep approximately 1-2 mm between each fingers, like this. Then next, you want to make sure that your hand is not too high, with your fingers stretched like that. This makes it very difficult to have a beautiful sound. So instead, you want to make sure to bring your hand down like that. So not like this, stretch, but like that down. So that all your fingers really stay bended. That will look like that in the end. And the last thing to check is really your thumb. Most beginners press the thumb so that it looks like that, making the sound very harsh. Instead, you want to check that the thumb is really relaxed and rounded like that. Like that, and not like this. So in my free masterclass, I go more in detail over other points, but now let us see one of the most important points, how to move the bow. That's something really fundamental that we teach in level 1 and 2 of the Violinacademy, because you need to learn that first. And that's the reason why most students, the sound is just not very nice. And the first thing is to understand the flexibility principle. When you play with a bow, you want to make sure that everything is loose and flexible. Everything, the fingers, the wrist, the entire arm, everything. Because the goal is really to guide the bow, but letting him a little bit free instead of trying to force him. So here exactly how to do that and what to look for. So the first thing to understand is that the bow posture is different in each part of the bow. So if you look at my bow hand, at the frog, it will look like that. We'll see that my forefinger will be very active and that my fingers are all bended. Now if I play in the middle of the bow, the hand will be turned a little bit in this direction so that the weight of the arm will come to the index fingers. And if I play at the tip of the bow, all my fingers will be extended like that. And if your forefinger lifts, it's okay. So here what's then really important is that when you play, to make sure that you allow this change of posture instead of trying to keep the same rigid posture the whole time like that. For that, you need to leave the fingers stay loose and flexible. Then look at your wrist. Here, same problem. Most people keep the wrist in the same position, resulting in a bad sound. And the bow being all over the place. Instead, the wrist at the frog should be a little bit bended like that. Then when you play in the middle, it should look like this, and at the tip like that in the other direction. So frog, bended, middle, quite straight, tip, bended in the other direction. And you don't want to force that, instead you just want to leave your wrist being flexible. And last thing, bow parallelity. To have a beautiful sound, you want to make sure that your bow stay parallel to the bridge at all time. And to do that, you need to learn to do 3 different movements for the 3 different parts of the bow. So when you play at the frog, make sure to play only with the upper arm, like that. I'm moving the bow from my shoulders using the upper arm, like that. Then when I play in the middle, instead, I will not move at all the upper arm and move only the lower arm from the elbow, like that. And then when you play at the tip of the bow, you need to expand your entire arm up front and then come back as you play up again. Moving your elbow in both directions to keep the bow parallel to the bridge. And then there is a very important rule to have a beautiful sound at the frog that I learned from some of the best violin teachers of all time, Ivan Galamian and Leopold Hauer. And it's that when you play in the first fourth of the bow, you should use 1/4 less bow hair. So here what it means. When I will play from here, the frog, to here, so the first fourth of the bow, I want to bend the bow a little bit so that less bow hair comes in contact with the string by bending it in direction of the fingerboard like that. So those were the foundation, but now let us see how to develop a full sound. And here the first thing is to understand the principle that to have a beautiful sound, you need to get the string to vibrate. Basically, when you look at my string while playing, you will see that it vibrates the whole time. And the more it vibrates, the more beautiful it will sound. And now let us see exactly how to do that. But first, if you are an adult beginner and you would like to be able to play the violin so that it sounds beautifully with the right foundation, we are organizing a free violin masterclass where I show the most important principles to master the violin step by step. You will find that with the link under this video. So the first thing is that you want to make sure that you are using the natural weight of your arm instead of trying to press the string using strength. For that, bring your bow on the string and really feel how the weight of the entire arm comes to the string. You should feel that it's very heavy, so that when you play, the sound should be way bigger. And then you need to try to pull the string. That means that while playing, I will try to pull the string horizontally. I don't want to press the string in this direction, as it will sound bad. Instead, I want to feel that I'm pulling the string, like that, horizontally. The same in the other direction. And that's the exact reason, by the way, why in French, and I'm French, by the way, but living in Germany, that's why in France we call that down, we call it tirer, that means pulling, and up, we call that pousser, that means push. Because when you play, that's what you should think of. Pulling the string, and then pushing the string. And that's why, actually, too, that if you look at your bow here under a microscope, you will see that there are a lot of microscopic hooks that grab the string. And that's the same when you apply rosin onto your bow hair, it increases this pull effect. And to be able to really pull the string, what you want to do is just to look at your string while playing and see that it's moving, that you are really pulling it, and at the same time you should see that the string is vibrating more and more. So now there is just 3 factors that you really need to master to have a beautiful sound, and I show that in this video.